Star Wars has another big problem on its hands, and what is a franchise to do when it's discovered that so many making it hate the very men who are supposed to be buying it? Today we're talking about Star Wars Outlaws, and folks, the strategy is the shill defense. Hello folks, welcome back to the Pro Channel. You are in for one heck of a video today. Get ready to laugh, get ready to cry. You're going to need a Kleenex because this is going to be a good time. Joining us today is Michelle of Force of Light. Michelle, how are you?
I'm doing good. I've got my Star Wars shirt on. I'm ready.
That's right. Well, Star Wars needs your help, Michelle. They need help from anyone who has common sense and a brain. And here's why. Yet again, here we are. It's the same story, different piece of media. This time, it's not The Acolyte, it's Star Wars Outlaws, and this is their official story trailer that came out 6 days ago. And yes, it's on its way to a more than double the dislikes to likes ratio. Yet again.
Punch it!
And Michelle, I don't know if you've been following this very closely, but the reason that this game is receiving so much pushback, so much backlash, at least one of the reasons is this. Take a look at this, Michelle. There is an effort underway to make the main character a very ugly woman. This is the model. This out of the Bugle Daily. The model is on the left. On the right is the character that they made out of her. And Michelle, the males in the game, the men in the game, look exactly like their models. They purposefully made this character look awful in comparison to the beautiful young woman they hired to play this role. And that's not all, but we're going to get to the other reasons people are very angry about this game in just a moment. And folks, we're about to show you the shill defense, and it's glorious. It is absolutely glorious. But Michelle, before we get to all that, what do you make of this new push that is particularly in video games, but it's not limited to video games? What do you make of this new push to focus on women who are less attractive, or taking women who are already attractive and making them unattractive purposefully in order to punch back at the patriarchy? What do you make of this new movement?
Well, it's kind of odd, quite frankly. I mean, typically with when it comes to movies and things, you kind of think of both male and female, the kind of the cream of the crop, so to speak. So that is particularly interesting. It's hard to see any resemblance between the model and this character. Like, if you bring it up, I can see what they were going for, maybe like that 70s kind of wolf-like haircut, maybe. But like, you could have done that and still like her look a lot more like the model. Michelle,
what if I told you that this is one of the better screenshots of that character?
Okay, I believe it. I believe it.
It looks like Mick Jagger. That's what this character looks like when you see it. But Michelle, when you have a situation like this, apparently Star Wars and Ubisoft, they've come up with the perfect defense. It's called the shill defense. And folks, we're not mean to people on this channel. I'll just tell you, we're not mean, and we don't call people directly shills. But in this case, we want to thank Grizzy, the YouTuber. And by the way, please click on the link down below. Grizzy has compiled a bunch of this, and Grizzy's video dunking on this is hilarious. It is awesome. It is wonderful. And Grizzy is an up-and-coming YouTuber that you have to go watch. So please, folks, go watch the video. I'm telling you, it's a great time. But Michelle, prepare yourself. I'm about to release the shills. Are you ready?
Let me say really quick, because I'm just seeing this all for the first time, really. So now let me tell you too what I see with this. So here's my thing. And I know some of the men out there will be like, oh, they'll disagree with me maybe on this. It's one thing if video games were like, we're going to make our female characters less overly sexual. But you can still be very, very attractive, very, very feminine, and not be overtly sexual.
Well, she's had every bit of femininity removed from her, Michelle. I mean, I'm not showing you a picture of her body, And I'm not saying that every woman has to fit a certain mold, but there are no traces of femininity. As I said, it's Mick Jagger with some sort of
what I'm saying that, well, and what I'm saying is that's why none of this makes sense. Like you're not, it would be one thing if you're just not making them hyper like little sex idols, but still letting them be very attractive and feminine. But they seem to just, want neither.
Michelle, I'm about to release the shills. So I want you to see how your typical shill is responding to the game. Folks, I'm telling you right now, hold on to your seat. This is glorious.
At least that's what I hear.
Wait, what? Let's go!
Jabba, right?
Oh no! Sarlacc!
Star Wars Outlaws pre-order available now.
Guys, this is one of, if not my most anticipated game of the year. Anything that's got me going pew, 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 sign me up.
I gotta say, the concept of this is enough for me to go, I might even pre-order this.
Michelle?
Well, they're excited.
They're very excited. They're very excited. They might not be so excited, though, because they were recorded before this came out, although I anticipate they'll be just as excited. I think their excitement comes from a different place than where me and you might find our excitement about Star Wars. This releasing just a few hours ago, as of the recording of this video, from Star Wars Holocron. The Jabba the Hutt mission in Star Wars Outlaws is only available with a season pass, so you've got to buy it. And, folks, if that wasn't enough, if you're wondering why are folks mad at this game, this out of That Park Place earlier last week by John Trent. Star Wars Outlaws community manager Shauna Jones appears to have animus against white men in numerous social media posts. It goes through this, talks about all of this stuff that is in there. And yes, so not good, Michelle, not good. I'm not sure why Star Wars continues to do what they do. Do you think, Michelle, that the shills will be able to save this game? Will the shills convince the folks out there to shell out the money?
No. That's a hard no.
You're going to hear it first, folks.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like we talked about last time on the videos on, like, people are just they're too apathetic at this point. Like, no one really cares. And are they not coming out with the video game? Like, people actually liked the one video game with the redhead guy in it. Are they not doing another one of those, or?
Michelle, they're allergic to success. You know the answer to that. I mean, at this point, Lucasfilm could be more entertaining if they just took buckets of money into their parking lot and just lit it aflame, and we could all watch and be like, wow, look at that. They're spending less on failure than they did before. This is amazing. I mean, it's really something. But yeah, so they're in this massive crisis. Okay. I don't understand how they managed to do this over and over again in every facet of the company, right? Like, how do you go from the Acolyte and that giant mess to Gina Carano and that giant mess to Star Wars Outlaws and now this giant mess? Like, how do you bounce from failure to failure across different domains where it's not even, you would think, the same people at Lucasfilm, and yet they seem to fail in tremendously similar ways at scales that the average person, it boggles their mind, Michelle. Have you seen anything like this? I mean, what is going on at this company?
Well, again, I mean, you have a leader who's not doing the best job of leading, who clearly, I think everything you just kind of named off that they've done, it's very much agenda driven. She wants clearly, wouldn't you love to see like a whiteboard at Lucasfilm, like what is required? It's like as far as like a starting point, because there's like things that they're like, these have to be in it.
I like starting with a maven of filth. When I'm looking for my writer, I go, you know what? We just did this thing with Leslie Headland, the former personal assistant to Weinstein, and we just got the lawyer who was the former lawyer to Weinstein to take down Gina Carano. Hey, why don't we see if we can find another maven of filth to write the story behind a Star Wars video game? That's the way to do it. By the way, she's self-proclaimed Michelle. She's the self-proclaimed Maven of Filth. That's the lead writer behind this game. I mean, I mean,
The Maven of Filth. That's quite a name.
maybe it makes a lot of sense for the main character to be the way that it is, where it looks like someone who has
Filth.
imbibed substances one should never imbibe. How's that for you folks? Michelle,
the hair,
that is
the hair kind of looks that way.
yes. So, Michelle, we've got the situation with Lucasfilm defending itself with this shill strategy, and perhaps Ubisoft as well. And we know the next stage, what that's going to be. That's going to be the attack stage. Because there are tremendous amounts of money now that are going to be lost if Lucasfilm does not turn around the marketing here. And they're not going to turn around the marketing. And so we're going to go into the attack stage, right? That's what we saw with Riva and the Kenobi series. It's what we've seen with other Star Wars properties, is that when it starts to get ugly because they've made something ugly, then they get ugly towards the fans. Now, the issue here is, I would say, is that Star Wars is, well, I don't know how it can go lower. So it's at the bottom that I can assess. Maybe there's a lower bottom, but there was something to be lost in the past, and I don't know where it can go at this point. So, Michelle, I don't want to ask you. I was going to ask you if it were up to you, like, how would you try to fix this? And it's getting to the point now where that's like saying, hey, the house just burned down. If it was up to you, what drapes would you choose? It's like, it's just painful. So, Michelle, let's switch that question around and say this. At what point do you think Star Wars had reached this level of depravity where you can't bring it back? Like, where was that point where they really had gone too far, and now, without tremendous leadership change, it's just stuck? Where was that point?
I actually think it's beyond The Last Jedi. I think it was still repairable on some level, not the original, not Luke's story at that point. But I think where they went beyond the point of no return was Gina Carano. I think that was like the final straw for a lot of people, myself included.
So I agree with you, Michelle. And I think what's been fascinating to me has been that not only did they lose Gina Carano, not only did they then, I think, destroy the path forward, but it's as if everyone involved also, there was something lost that went beyond just personnel and beyond plans. Because the Book of Boba Fett, the quality was just awful. Ahsoka was just awful. And it's so different than when the first two seasons of The Mandalorian were hitting. It's almost like that took the sails out of everybody who had common sense. Like, nobody cared anymore. Everybody was just like, you know what? We tried to redeem you. Just screw this. We're out. We're done. We're over. And that's, by the way, that's how you get memes like this.
We're gonna do it!
Because the whole thing's a joke. Like, Michelle, that was supposed to be a highlight. That was supposed to be a big moment in Dave Filoni's live-action Disney Plus show. And there's Lorena laughing her head off. And we're putting, funny memes behind it because it's so stupid. It's utterly stupid. Anyway, Michelle, give me your final thoughts on Star Wars and this crazy game. I guess I'm interested in your thoughts on, what are we going to do with this idea of we can't celebrate men, definitely not in Star Wars. And now, in this bizarre way, we're trying to empower women by disempowering women. Like, women are not allowed to be attractive. Women have to be like these lesser versions of men. They can't even be fully women. It's weird. So, Michelle, your final thoughts on it.
They are a they them, I guess. I'm not quite sure. I just think the bottom line with Star Wars, I think that's why I've said, like, I've just grown apathetic, is until there's leadership change, there's just not, there's no questions to be asked anymore. We see what they've done now. Even since they fired Gina Carano 3 years ago, nothing has changed. Bob Iger coming in, he wants to say he's going to change things. Nothing changes. Because they've never addressed the leadership issue. And I just think until that is addressed and you actually put someone in there that cares about not driving at things with an agenda, then I just think we're going to continue to get this. We're going to continue to get the same old, and it doesn't excite women and it doesn't excite men. So it just, who is happy about this? I don't, there's no winner.
Michelle, there's a French word for what Star Wars is right now. You know that French word?
What?
Garbage.
Yeah, it is.
All right, folks. The opposite, the antithesis of garbage is Force of Light Entertainment and the wonderful stuff that's on that YouTube channel. Michelle, tell the folks out there what they can expect in the future with Force of Light.
Well, if you gentlemen are looking for something high octane, we have our first time watching reaction of Speed with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock is coming out tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. So be on the lookout at Force of Light Entertainment for our first time watching reaction of Speed.
Vroom, vroom, folks, and don't go. What's the speed where you can't go below? Was it 45? Was that the
I think
speed?
it was 45, yes.
Don't go below 45, folks. All right, well, Star Wars doesn't know how to do that. They don't know how to get above 10, I don't think. But anyway, ask Thrawn. Folks, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, share, subscribe, and click it. Stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below and let us know which of the shills do you think was the most shrill, which was the worst of the shills. We would love to hear your thoughts, but be nice to them. They're real people and they have real feelings. Don't be too mean. Also, folks, it would be very nice if you would stop on by That Park Place Podcasts Online. It's a long name for a channel. It's called T3PO. Brand new channel just came out today. Link is down in the video description. We would love to have your subscription to T3PO. Folks, the Pro Show is live tomorrow at noon Eastern, and we are breaking brand new Disney World news exclusively on that live stream. You do not want to miss it. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
At least that's what I hear.
This is Wilton the Troll reporting for That's Park Place, and I'm surrounded by loving and adoring people who are peacefully trying to make sure that poor kids aren't cold in the winter. And just behind me, you can see a totally natural bonfire for baking cookies or making marshmallows.
Yeah, so, Wilson, we really appreciate the effort and stuff, but we're looking for real and, accurate news reporting on That Park Place.
So not like most news outlets, huh?
No.